All right, what's up YouTube? We're doing another install video for a Genesis Coupe 2.0T. This time we're gonna be replacing a 2.0T power steering pump, which is right here. First thing we're gonna be doing pretty much is taking off this shroud right here that connects to the intake. But in our case, this is an aftermarket intake, so you don't have to actually remove everything. After you got that duct removed, what you're going to be doing pretty much is coming over here and taking off this intake. The clamp right here, and usually there's another clamp back there on that guy, but there's none on this one. So we're going to take out that clamp, and then we're going to loosen the screw, which is right there, and then we're going to go ahead and take out this whole intake. All right, once we got the intake removed, we're going to go ahead and take off this intercooler pipe. So right over here we have a hose clamp right here. We're gonna take that guy off, and then over here we have a 12mm bolt that we need to remove. All right guys, once you get that intercooler pipe pretty much pushed up just like that and removed, we're gonna come right over here, come down to the belt, and we're gonna come down to the tensioner. This is gonna be a 17mm. What you're gonna wanna do is pretty much take off the belt at this point, break your bar with a short socket 17mm, and it'll work perfectly fine. So what we're gonna be doing now is pretty much taking out this sensor right here. We're also gonna be taking this sensor out too, to the turbo, just so we can get this whole harness out of the way. So just like that, the whole harness is pretty much tucked out of the way now, so we have more access to more things. And not only that too, but when it comes to actually removing the power steering pump, we're gonna be pretty much like having a lot of force on it, so you don't wanna accidentally pull down on the power steering pump and pull on one of the harness lines and then rip it. So always get this out of the way. So from here, we're pretty much gonna get underneath the car now on this driver's side corner, and we're going to look for the power steering lines, which are right here, 1 and 2. And we're actually gonna be draining the power steering from these 2 lines. So we're gonna take off this hose right here on this guy, and then this hose as well. I'm gonna go ahead and take off this clip right here. It's just a Phillips clip. That way I can go ahead and remove this splash shield, or at least push it back, so I can get better access to these hose clamps right here. All right, just like that, we're getting our power steering fluid drained. I'm gonna do this bottom hose first, and then I'm gonna do the top one. All right guys, so now we got both of the hoses taken off. So these are now draining. What we're gonna be doing now is going back up top and pretty much taking off the power steering pump. So the first thing we'll be doing, guys, is pretty much taking off this bolt right here. This is gonna be a 24mm bolt. So we can get our impact and take it off. After we got this bolt taken off, we're gonna come back here and we're gonna take off this 10mm bolt right here, and then this 10mm bolt right there. All right guys, once we have those 10mm removed, we're gonna come to the front of the power steering pump. So if you look right here, there's a bolt right there, and then there's also a bolt down there. Well, you can't see it, but it's right here. So there's 2 bolts holding it in place. Both of them are 12mm, so you need to take out both these bolts. Once we got the bolts removed, we're gonna go ahead and pretty much pull out the power steering pump. So all we're gonna do is pretty much pull down and then pull from right here. Comes right out, just like that. All right guys, now we have the power steering pump out. We do have to remove this sensor right here. So this is a 19mm, I've already loosened it up. So all you have to do is put it on and remove, just like that. So we're gonna go ahead and continue taking out this sensor, and then we're gonna transfer this and transfer it over here. I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done. All right guys, so we have that power steering pump sensor removed. So this is what comes out. This right here, you can actually pull out with some needle nose. So it's gonna be sitting in that little cubby in there. And all you do is you get your needle nose, clamp it, and pull it out. That's it. So we're gonna grab this piece, and then we're gonna put it in with this pin facing in, like so. Put it just in like that, push it in. Then we're gonna grab our spring, put our spring in, like that. Then we're gonna get our sensor and tighten it down. So now that the sensor is installed, we're gonna go ahead and take out this bracket right here and then transfer it over onto this one. All right, now we have everything transferred over, we can go ahead and pretty much start reverse installing and putting this back in. All right guys, so before putting in the new power steering pump, what you're gonna wanna do is, because a lot of you guys struggle when putting it back in. So whenever you remove the bolts, this fitting right here, or this, I wouldn't really know what to call it, but this bushing basically retracts and it goes inward. So when you remove the bolt, it slides in. So whenever you put in the new power steering pump, it's really hard to push in because that bearing compressed and it went inward. So what you need to do is flatten it out with the bracket surface. And the way how you do that is you get a little hammer like this. And all you do is pretty much just whack it until you see it move. And you can tell it moves because before you can see how this bearing, now you can start seeing the inside of it right here, how it's shiny. You can tell it's moving. So that's how you guys put back in the power steering pump without having any issues. I know a lot of you guys struggle with it, and this is pretty much the reason why you guys struggle. So once we got that pushed out, we're gonna go ahead and put in our power steering pump and pretty much reverse install everything. And just a quick tip guys, don't forget to put this gasket right here. It goes right there, pressed up against that. This is an O-ring gasket that goes right there. And then up top, don't forget to use new crush washers as well for this banjo bolt up here. All right guys, so I did just put on the belt. I should have showed you guys because I should have showed you how it goes. So this is basically what it looks like as it loops around. Goes around the crank, tensioner, idler pulley, water pump, power steering, comes down, another idler pulley, alternator, idler pulley, and yeah. So we pretty much got everything installed back again, except for the air duct and the intake. Reason being is because I want to pretty much fill up the reservoir and make sure there are no leaks. Before you fill up the reservoir, make sure you put on the line setter down there. Make sure you put them back on. Otherwise, you're just gonna be leaking a lot of fluid. So what we're gonna be doing pretty much is, while we have the car lifted off the ground, we're gonna be putting our fluid in here. And then once we top it off, we're gonna go into the car and turn the steering wheel left to right like 4 or 5 times. And just a heads up guys, you're gonna be using this fluid. This is what the owner's manual pretty much recommends you guys using, which is CHF 202. All right, so we just filled this up with some power steering fluid. So now we're gonna go ahead and get into the car. Make sure you leave the cap off. We're gonna get into the car and we're gonna turn the steering wheel left to right 5 times. All right, and as you guys can see, what that just did is pretty much fill up the power steering system without the pump on. So now we're pretty much gonna turn the car on and we're gonna put the rest of this power steering fluid into here, top it off, and now we're gonna go ahead and repeat the same process we just did with turning the steering wheel while the car is running. All right guys, and what we're doing now is pretty much checking for leaks after we just got done pretty much bleeding our power steering system. So we're just gonna come around and check for some leaks, make sure nothing's dripping. Up here, checks up, no leaks, no leaks. Over here, that sensor, no leaks. Our clamps, no leaks. Come down here. Come check these guys. I don't have any brake cleaner, so I couldn't really clean these off, but again, no leaks over here. So we're pretty much good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it down real quick with some shop cloths, and then I'm gonna see and double check again for leaks before I send the customer off. All right guys, and I just triple checked for leaks right now and we are good to go. And this video is pretty much done. That's how you install a power steering pump on a Coupe 2.0T. All right guys, and that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys liked it, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, please. Comment if you have any questions about the video, if you need help on anything along the way. And I'll do my best to respond to you guys as quickly as possible. But anyways guys, that's it for this video. Again, I'll go ahead and see you guys back here in the next install. Peace out. Later.